Hello everyone and welcome to my corner of the world. Today's card is one of the increasingly popular slimline style of card, and the one I'm going to show you how to do today is actually an easel card. So this piece comes and it kind of sits like that, and looks like that when it's on display. So I'm going to start with a full sheet of mint macaron card. So this is 11 by 8.5. And I'm going to, although I've already scored it, I'm just going to show you how I did that. So I scored it at 3 5/8 on one end, and then I swing it round and do the same on the other, 3 5/8 on the other side. And when I've done that, when I folded it over, I discovered that by doing it that way, it just is slightly short of the fold. So you don't get all this sort of bunching up inside the fold, and you don't have to do any trimming. And so when you fold the other side over, again, you can see it doesn't quite hit the fold. And so you haven't got all of that bunching or, as I say, the need to trim. And then you have got a little gap here. But when you come to do the easel part, then that little gap was none of what is won't show. So that's our starting point. And then I've got all my layers, and I've done a little bit of pre-stamping and pre-layering. So I'm using the beautiful gilded autumn specialty paper. You can see I don't have very much left anymore. I've gone through it. So and this is a crumb cake layer. Now all the measurements for these will be on my blog, and if you look below this video you will see a link to that. So I think this is like 3 inches by 4 inches, and the crumb cake layer is 4 1/4 by, let me check, hold on, 4 1/4 by 8 1/4. So I've just used some adhesive to stick that down, and then I'm going to use some of the lovely brushed metallic card, and I'm going to be just running it up against this edge here. You can just see it's level with that edge. Now I know I've got a gap here, but in a moment I'm going to be putting my labels on, and so that gap won't be visible anymore. Now my stamp set is the beautiful autumn stamp set, and I'm using this leaf and this, I think it's like a grass stem or a corn stem, I'm not quite sure which, and I'm also going to be using this. Because I designed this card for Thanksgiving, I'm using, unusually for me, a second stamp set, and I'm using the Gather Together, and I'm using these 2 stamps just for my greetings, but you could use an alternative. So those are that's my front panel, and then this is my inside panel, and again it's the same size crumb cake and another piece of that lovely gilded autumn specialty paper stuck on side. So that's my other layer. My next layer is a piece of Very Vanilla, and this is, let's see, 8 1/4 by 3 1/2. But as I say, you're going to check below this video, you'll see a link to my blog, and all my measurements will be on there. Now, I'm going to start with my greeting, and I'm using Early Espresso for this one. And I put my greeting down first. And then I'm going to backfill with my other stamps. So I'm going to start with the largest one first, and I am just going to randomly stamp, and I'm going to just turn my card. Oh, that one didn't go terribly well, but we'll find another way of doing that. So I'm just going to stamp my card, and I'm just going to keep moving it round until I filled up one lot of space. And then I'm going to go in with the other. And I'm deliberately making sure that I kind of stamp off a bit just to make it, I don't know, it just looks a little bit more realistic to me. And just, again, randomly stamping. And then my last bit is, I'm going to remind myself what I did before. Yep, I remember now. And I've got my mint macaron. Now, mint macaron isn't a colour that you would naturally associate with Thanksgiving or autumn. But you know, the colours I chose for this particular card were all decided by the designer series paper. The people at Stampin' Up put those colours together for me, and to my mind, they work really, really well together. Maybe I can get another one here. And I think it is just a perfect pairing. So I think I'm happy with that. I've got enough there. Alrighty. Can I clear myself some space? All right. So basically we're down to assembly and decoration. So my first piece, I'm just going to stick this one in the middle here. Now, I like to use the liquid glue. If you follow my videos, you probably heard me say it lots and lots of times. But I just like it because it gives me some wiggle room, some time to position. And if it's not slightly centered the way I will position the way, so you can usually just give it a little bit of a tweak with your thumbs and that will all come off. Then I'm going to lay down this layer. But you can use whatever adhesive. You can use like a tape runner. You can use a glue stick, whatever works for you. Okay, so that's those pieces down. Now, I decorated the inside of my card with a cup using the Tasteful Labels dies, and this is one of my most favorite sets. They've got all sorts of lovely different shapes, so you can see there's circles and there's banners, and these are the two I chose to use. So I've cut one here in vanilla and I've just stamped it again. This is where you're going to write your to you, love from me, on that piece there. And then the other two, I've cut another one using Early Espresso, and then this shape using Very Vanilla again. And I just, as I say, it's one of my favorite die sets at the moment. It just is perfect. It just has so many lovely different shapes. So I'm just going to position that there. And because I can't resist to use even more bling, I'm going in with a different of the colour of the brushed metallic. This is like the middle goldy one. I use the dark one on the outside. And I've got the Autumn Punch Pack, and I'm just going to cut a couple of these. They remind me of oak leaves. So I'm just going to do a couple of those. Like that. And just a tiny little squidge of adhesive, and I'm just gonna pop them in the corner there just to sort of balance out the grass or the wheat or whatever that particular shape is, design is on the other. So that's that bit. Oh, she says, and it lifted off. I must have a sticky finger. Press it firmly. There we go, all done. So then we're on the outside of the card, and this is where this layer goes. Now, this is the only layer that I'm attaching with dimensionals. And that's because we've got quite a thickness, or lots of different layers of card. So it is going to be quite thick, and it might need a bit of extra postage. So I kept my dimensionals down to a minimum, which is unlike me, because along with the glitter, I do love my dimensionals. Okay, so again, I'm just gonna pop this here, and to make sure it's sort of centered, I hover, and then when it's all in the right position, then I press down firmly. Right. As I said, I've done a little pre-stamping on this one to save some time. But again, there's the Gather Together, and that's from the Gather Together stamp set. And I've just put a couple of extra leaves just to take some of the white space away. And some dimensionals. And I'm going to center that up on my card like that. And then I've got a couple of last bits to do. So the first is these lovely Acorn Trinkets. They're stunning. Love them. So I've just taken one, and I've put a little bit of linen thread on it and just tied a simple knot. And I am going to get a glue dot, and I'm going to pop it on the corner, and then I'm going to put my piece of string there, and I'm going to use a nail, or you can use a piercing tool or something, and I'm just mashing that string into the glue dot just to make sure it's all firmly held. And then I'm going to put another glue dot on the top like that. And then I have a piece of the basket weave ribbon, and it comes in a combo pack. So you've got a coppery one, a brassy coppery one, as well as the mint macaron one. And I've just tied a simple knot. And again, if you go to my blog, I've got a link to how I tie my my knots, and bows, and just going to clip off that spare bit like that. And then I have cut a couple of leaves. Now with this, I've used the die set that coordinates with Gather Together, which is Gathered Leaves. And I have cut one of the medium and the small leaves. And the medium one is going to go on a glue dot, and I'm going to just pop it behind here, just enough that it doesn't stick out. Oh, now what did I do with my other one? Yes, like this. So it doesn't go over the footprint of my card. Like that. And then the little bit that holds the hinge, or sorry, the here, like so it's the easel holding it in place. So this is the small leaf, and I am just going to attach a dimensional to that, and I'm going to position it so that it doesn't go outside the footprint of my card. And it's sort of at an angle. And so that will just hold it in place like that. So there you are. That is my slim fold easel card, and with a Thanksgiving theme. But as I say, you could just change out the paper and the greetings, and you could make any theme that you wanted. Well, I certainly appreciate you joining me today. Thanks very much for your time. If you've enjoyed the video, perhaps you go ahead and give me a thumbs up. And if you don't already subscribe to my YouTube channel, then perhaps you'd hit that YouTube channel, YouTube subscribe button, and then you'll get notified every time I issue a new video. Well, thank you once again. Happy Thanksgiving. Bye for now.